This is Nimram speaking to you, and I command you to go to DevonTaylorAuthor.com right now. You must check the specials. Listen to me. You must check the specials now.
Welcome to a brand new experience with innovative voices from all over the world. I would like to invite you all to something that is magical, something that is powerful. It's something that is from my heart. This is the Devon Taylor Podcast. Hello, all, and welcome to another episode of the Devon Taylor Podcast, where we have guests from all around the world tell their unique and powerful stories to allow their voice to be heard, but also for you to leave inspired. Our next guest is an entrepreneur, a transformational coach, motivational speaker, and a best-selling author whose story comes from a traumatic experience of her daughter being hit by a car and suffering a TBI, which is a traumatic brain injury. I am happy to welcome to the show Roberta Campbell. Welcome.
Oh, hi. Thank you so much, Devon. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited for you to be here. We met in Naples, so I'm really excited because your story was amazing, and just the journey that you and Paige went through, I feel like could resonate with a lot of people, or people that are not really informed as far as what a TBI is. You can help inform people and just kind of give them that insight. So I'm super grateful for you to be here. But yeah, I would love for you to start off with your story, just kind of like what led you to Naples, and speaking in front of the crowd we spoke in front of, and just the journey you and Paige have been on.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you so much. So, let's go back a few years to like 2018. And I became an empty nester. My kids were in college. I had sold the house. I moved into this really cute apartment, and I was like ready to live my life. Okay. And I was in this apartment for 3 weeks, and I was in California. So I live in Ohio. And I was in California doing hair extension training. And I received a call that my daughter was in an accident. And I really didn't have much information at that time. I just knew I needed to get home. My daughter was 22. And so I finally made it home, longest day ever, and went to the hospital. And she actually, she looked decent. Like she was actually hit by a car. And so the thing is that her injuries were invisible. So she had a traumatic brain injury, a moderate to severe traumatic brain injury, frontal, and cracked her skull in the occipital in the back.
Wow.
And so when I went to see her, I mean, she didn't look real bad, didn't have a ton of scrapes and bruises or broken bones. But she was acting different, like very adolescent. And so her friends were there with her at the time. And then I was there to kind of take over. And she did have some nerve damage on her foot, and her foot's really messed up. So that was a lot of concern there too. But the next day, she woke up in excruciating pain. And this led to 2 weeks and 3 different hospitals until we finally got her stable. The traumatic brain injury, she had more swelling, bleeding, and bruising on her brain. And so it was so scary. And I have to tell you, I didn't have anyone really with me. And, I'm divorced, and I don't think we understood how serious it was too. It was very difficult. And, we came back home. Well, luckily my apartment was a 2-bedroom by the grace of God.
Yeah.
The only thing available was a 2-bedroom. And so, we got her situated. It took time. And we began the journey, thinking just we're home, she's safe, she's good. But this is where the healing began. And it was rough. I'm going to tell you, I didn't understand what was going on. She went through a lot of depression and anxiety and PTSD. And, you know, they had told us, recommended that we join support groups for traumatic brain injury survivors. And thank God I did, because I was able to understand her condition a little better. And I could also see that so many people were struggling. And
Mm,
so this led me on a journey of, where do we go from here? Like, there has to be something to help her. And so it led me to like holistic and alternative treatments. And I mean, little by little, and it takes time. She began to heal, and she finished college under disability services. And I'll tell you what, she went through a major depression. She
mm,
barely left this apartment for a long time. And so the only thing, that could make her happy was like singing. She's
mm,
always loved to sing. So that kind of led to her thing of, she started like writing music and singing. And that was the healing part of her healing process. And so for me, I was just taking care of her. I was in survival mode. I wasn't really
mm,
taking care of myself. And in 2020, when a lot of things happened and I lost my job. I'm a hairstylist, and everything was shut down, and that made things worse. But in a way, it changed my life. And it actually, I say I hit rock bottom. I
mm,
mean, I felt like I had lost everything and I didn't know where I was going. And so I just, I knew things had to change. And
mm,
I decided then, I begged God, I needed some help. And so I began this personal development journey with mentors, Bob Proctor, if you know, who was in The Secret.
yeah.
And so I began this year-long personal development program. And it opened up my eyes to this whole different world that I had never seen. And so I'll tell you, one of the things was like meditation, like quieting your mind, because I'm so used to like going and working
Mm-hmm.
hard and just, well, well, we couldn't then. Everything was taken away. So it was a really good time to just take some time and be still. And
Mm,
so I started meditating, and one of the ways that I would meditate was staring at the flame of a candle.
mm.
And so, yeah,
I love that.
I know, it's a really, because just, it's so mesmerizing.
Mm,
And so that's when I had this idea to write a book. And I thought, okay, that's just insane. Like, wait a minute.
wow.
How am I going to write a book? I didn't even go to college. I mean, this is crazy. So I just kind of like let things happen. And the more in tune that I was with my intuition, things started happening. I didn't tell too many people that I wanted to write a book, because I'll tell you, about 15 years ago, I told someone and they laughed in my face.
Wow.
And so, needless to say, never really thought about that again until at this time. And so I had confided in a friend of mine, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you need to meet one of my clients. She's an editor for this publishing company." And so
Wow.
that's where I really started tapping into my intuition, like just listen and follow that and follow the guidance. And that led me to writing this book. And so, because I knew I had to help others. And
Mm,
so, so I started writing the book, and along this journey, I wanted people to hear my daughter's voice, her, like what she was going through, because I didn't understand. And also during this time, I guess the book was going to be titled like Invisible Injury or Disability. And people kept saying, you know, I mean, she looks fine. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the title, which is just so perfect. And I'm going to tell you, yes, it explains her, but it probably, I think it's a lot of us. We look fine on the
Mhm.
outside, but what are we holding inside? And it can be physical pain, it can be trauma and all of that. So this book has opened up doors and led us on a journey that we
Mhm.
did not see coming. I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah. No, and I love that title. Like, it's so iconic. And I feel like you guys have definitely just like the tidbit of just starting to see your flowers of what is to come from what you guys are doing and just being so vulnerable and telling your story. And I was happy to read the story from front to back. So I was able to get to, know the experience that you and Paige went through. And so I kind of wanted to go back a little bit to your experience. Like, what was the hardest part for you, like going through this, entire situation with her being hit, but like you having to take, caretake her, you having to kind of step up in a way where you probably, like you said, weren't used to, and this change to her, and just all of it together.
At the time, I mean, I was pissed off. I was like, oh, first of all, hold on. I just was restarting my life. Wait a
Right.
minute. And at that time I was thinking, why is this happening to us? What did we do? Like, I don't get this. Whereas now I can look at it from a place of understanding that,
Mm,
I'm not grateful that the accident happened, but I'm grateful that we came out of this in a different way. So for me, it was like, ah, aggravation. Um, I was like, I just want my old life back.
yeah.
Uh, do I? Did I really? Mm, when I see my life now, no, no. Everything has happened for a reason, and we've handled that the best that we can. It's made me very um, strong, and I've been independent, but it's also made me to a point to where I'm like, you know what? It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
I I think that's one of the biggest things as a single parent and just trying to be so independent and tough. It's like you have to ask for help at times.
Mm,
So it has changed both of our lives and opened up a world, completely different world
I was
for
going to
us.
say too, since you guys have written the book, what kind of reception have you guys received? What has changed for you personally?
Oh my gosh. Everything. Can we go back to Naples
Yeah.
and do that? That was like what, a year? No, 2
Yeah.
years ago?
Almost. Yeah. 2 years
Like
ago.
like, what? Oh my goodness. Um, it led from writing that book to co-authoring another book
Mm,
to, um, becoming a keynote speaker and opening up a world that I would've never seen. Now, I'm gonna tell you what, like, if you go back to when I was a child, yeah, I had a huge imagination. Man, I could see myself on stage
hmm
doing all of these things. I was in drama club growing up, and I knew that I had that inside me,
mm,
but I needed to work on myself and build my confidence. And I'm just an example of what can be done when you do the work and when you spend the time working on yourself and actually finding out who I was and
mm,
learning to love myself. That's what's changed my life.
mm. I
And
love that you.
so
Sorry.
and just becoming okay, so this podcast, so I became a
hmm
podcaster as well, and I did not see that coming. That was not on my
Mm,
list of things that I wanted to do, but to become a better speaker, I felt like this is perfect. I need to speak more. I need to talk more. And so this has just been, I guess, a month since I released my podcast, Unleash Her.
mm,
And I'm so excited about that. I have to tell you a little bit about that.
hmm
Okay.
Please do.
So last year I decided I'm going to do this like speaker series, just go live on Facebook, and it just didn't feel right. And so at this time, I'm trying to figure out who I am. Yeah, I'm over 50, and I'm trying to figure out who I am.
I
I'm not the
resonate.
only one out there that's like, wait a minute,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And this is not what I wanted. And it's not too late. That's what I want people to know too, is that it's never too late to get started. So I got on
Mm-hmm.
the phone with two friends, and they were trying to help me learn how to use Chat GPT AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're in there, we're trying to figure out my brand, and we were kind of basing that on the whole she looks fine, the traumatic brain injury. And I'm like, you know what? Here's the thing. That's part of my life, but that's not me. Like, who am I? So, I mean, so this phone call was like hours long, and I just poured out every single thing that I wanted in my life. And I didn't know my friend was like typing every single thing into like
Chat
AI,
GPT.
in the yeah, yes, okay. And spit out, it spit this out, unleash her.
Wow.
And so, yeah,
Wow.
I looked at it and she was reading and I'm like, oh, that sounds amazing.
Mm.
That's what I want. That's who I want to be. But I'm not there yet. So I took that's been almost a year ago. And I've taken the past year just to really, I say live in the clouds for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
take that time to really study myself and to let all of those things come about. And
I love
so
that.
it's like, finally, I was like, that's it. I'm her,
Mm.
you know? And so it's beautiful. And now I'm like, oh, yes, this is so perfect. I'm able to have others on my podcast and help them tell their story and share their story with the world, and how they gained their confidence and overcame, adversity in their lives. And so it's just opening up a whole new world. And I'm from that, I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, I have other books coming, not soon,
Yay.
but yes, but I can see this, I can feel it. Um, Speaking engagements, just collaborations, every single thing, and it's all coming together.
Mm. I love that you literally were led to a podcast, connecting with other people and allowing them to tell their stories in a way for you to essentially find yourself. That's amazing. And how has it felt since you started doing the podcast and you've been interviewing people? How has that been? Are you ready to transform your life with the power of living water? Hi, I'm Devon Taylor, and I want to share an incredible discovery that's changed my life and my family's life: living water. Imagine waking up every morning feeling refreshed, energized, and ready to conquer the day. With living water, it's not just a dream, it's our new reality. We've been sleeping better, eating healthier, and have more energy than ever before. But that's not all. Our secret to this newfound vitality is available to you too. Visit our website at thelivingwatercouple.com and discover how living water can revolutionize your health and wellness. And there's more. Tune into our podcast, available on all streaming platforms and YouTube, where we dive deep into the science and benefits of living water. Hear from experts, satisfied customers, and learn how you can make this life-changing decision for yourself. But don't wait too long. Prices for our water machines and supply are going up in July 2024. Now is the perfect time to invest in your health and well-being. So, head over. Remember, living better starts with living water. Living water, drink, thrive, and live your best life. Visit thelivingwatercouple.com today.
I love it. I didn't think that I was going to say, I love this. Oh my gosh. So it's actually it took me a while. It took me a few months to get this all together, and I did every bit of this on my own. So the technology is sometimes a little bit of my
Mm-hmm.
the piece of me that needs help. Um, but besides that, I did all the research to find out which microphone to use, like what platform to use, which host to use. And so I I'm so proud of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we should be
Yep.
when we do things like this. And so that's only been like a month. I said I haven't even been able to celebrate yet.
Mm-hmm.
I've already done probably 10 to 15 interviews.
Wow.
So I know a lot of people through the personal development programs that I've been through, and I'm really grateful to have met all of these people.
Yeah. Connections, like I
Mhm.
say, they make
Mhm.
they make an experience so much more grand. And so I'm grateful for you to have a platform and for you to share that with everyone in such a vulnerable space, because like I said, it's probably one of the most beautiful things that you can do in life, you know. What has been, well, I know you spoke a little bit about the technical aspects of starting the podcast, but besides that, what has been the hardest part about starting a podcast? Because I feel like a lot of people may listen to your episode and hear your inspiring story and how it led you to starting your own podcast, and may have had the same feeling like, I want to start a podcast, but don't know how, or just feel like it may be too hard. Can you share some, other aspects that may have been hard for you when you started yours?
Besides the technical, because once I made it through all that, um, gosh, I don't know. It's been actually pretty easy.
Yeah.
So I think the most difficult thing is finding the space. I'm sure you can relate to this, a
Hmm.
quiet space.
Right. You guys
I
can
hear a
probably,
dog in the bark in
right.
the
I was gonna say you could probably hear my dogs in the back right now. It's a terrible situation. See, yeah, that's
Hey,
but
I love it.
the best part about having a podcast is that you get to learn how to deal with situations like that, because even when I was interviewing someone the other day, they were like glitching out. I could not even hear what they were saying. So I would have to like, oh my gosh, like hopefully she's still talking, and she was still talking when she'd come back, and it'd be like, thank God. And then I could,
Yeah.
reframe my question around what I heard. But I was worried that the recording was going to catch all of that. And thankfully, after it like made everything perfect. So you find your ways of getting around certain things.
Right. And I think the most important thing is don't wait until everything's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Someone is making a backdrop for me. Okay. So there's things like I didn't have that right away. I didn't wait for every single thing to fall into place to be perfect before I started. And that's one of the things Bob Proctor would say too. He's like, yeah, just you have to just get going.
Mm. I love
So
that.
yeah.
What is your message that you hope anyone that listens to Unleash Her may get from listening to the podcast?
Oh, well, first of all, that you do not have to have a college education. You
Mm.
don't have to have a type of degree. Anyone can start one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's never too late to start your life over.
Mm.
I mean, my life had been kind of mediocre, I would say. It was good. It was just kind of like, kind of went along. A little bit of rough patches here and there. But it wasn't until I would say after my divorce in 2009, you know, that things kind of like started shifting. And I think that's when I went through a lot thinking, wait a minute, this is not what I expected. This is um, trying to figure out who I was. And,
Yeah.
and, and by the time I turned 50, that's when things really started falling into place.
Mm.
So when I hear people say, oh, well, I can't, it's a little late, I'm 50 or 60 even. I'm like, what? Oh, no, you're just beginning.
Mm.
It's how you feel. And I swear I'm turning back time. I'm younger. I have went backwards. And
You look great.
oh, thank you.
I
Thank
did
you.
not, I would never have guessed you were 50 at all.
55.
Wow. Like, yeah, not at all. Even my mom, when we met you in Naples, she was like, oh my God, that woman is stunning. I was like, I know, right? So, yeah, no,
Aw.
you're taking care of yourself in such a way that you can see it. And just like I said, you like your energy, your aura, everything about you looks just super bright. So,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, thank you. That's what I want people to know. They get to this point and, I'm an empty nester, or I really resonate with the people where I've been, the empty nester of I'm lost. Wait a minute. I don't think I'm supposed to be doing this. I really want to know what my true purpose here on earth is. And I believe we all have a special purpose. And so I don't want to miss out on that. I'm the type, I'm like, I'm just getting started. I am not looking at retirement. I don't even want to talk about that. That is not even, that's nothing I'm even concerned about. Because yeah, you can change your life. You just have to make the decision. You make the decision to do it. You don't let outside noises and people, get to you. And so that's how it's been for me. And now, because my kids have seen me grow and evolve at, the second phase of my life, and they're like, whoa, it's been very inspiring for them and other people as well. So that's what I want to do. I want to help and inspire others. I also, because I transformed so much, I mean, from the inside out completely. And because I did, I want to help others. I can show others the path that I took and the tools that I used and that they can use to transform their lives. So now, yes, I'm a transformational coach. And I love that. And I love being able to just give people ideas of doing things differently that they hadn't thought of before. And when you let go, a lot of that's healing from the inside. And a lot of people don't want to go there, but you don't have to stay there. I worked through that and things keep coming up and I'm just going to continue growing and evolving.
I love that. I love that you even spoke on the transformational coach a little bit. I'd like you to even, if you can, speak a little bit about how you got into that and like your goal with your coaching and what people can expect if they work with you.
Hey guys, it's Icarus here.
And Amelia.
And I'm here to tell you if you'd like to join our brand new adventure. Go to DevonTaylorAuthor.com to learn more.
And check out the cool items like the new bucket hat.
Yeah, and so much more. See you guys there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that when I look back to when I was a child, I always liked to play school. So I always had to be the teacher. I always wanted to be the teacher.
I love that.
Whatever. You could call me bossy. No, I don't know. But I was kind of like, okay. So I loved being able to guide others. And so I always had that in me, right? But what happens as we grow, we kind of let go of that. And I did do a little bit of that with hair extension training too. So I kind of tapped into that. But with with my first mentorship program with Bob Proctor, it's just like, oh my gosh, people need to know this.
Mhm.
Everyone needs to know and understand this. And knowing it and hearing it is one thing, but um, but embodying it and truly living it is definitely the secret. And that's just been me evolving a little bit at a time. And that's okay. We're here. This is our journey.
Mhm.
So people have seen me, I work in a hair salon. They're like, you are just different. So they're like, how did you do that? And so with my second mentor, that's when I went through the program to learn how to be a mentor myself. And honestly, the part of that program, the technical side, I was like, oh, gosh, that was the only thing that was kind of like stopping me and slowing me down. But now that I've gone through all of this, I'm like, yes, I get it. I mean, I'm going to keep studying, continue to study every single day. But right now, where I'm at is helping others do this. Here's the most important thing, and this is what I've learned too. So I'm watching other people become coaches and mentors and how they do it. So the biggest thing, and I knew this, do it your way, what feels right. And I had to do it. I had to try some things out to see
Mhm.
how it felt. And I was like, that just doesn't feel right to me. And so if it doesn't feel right, you're not going to be successful.
Mhm.
But I just kept putting things out there just to see how it felt. And so now I'm in the process. I love one-on-one coaching. I've always I love spending that one-on-one time with someone. And so that's where I'm at right now, working one-on-one with clients. But I would love to do retreats.
Mhm.
I had one scheduled, and this was in, I believe, March or April, which I don't know if you know, but I had to cancel that. Um, my page was in another accident.
Mm. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
So it kind of threw a little loop in things. And but then I thought, well, there's also maybe I wasn't ready for this too. So I feel like retreats are really good if you can be surrounded by somebody's energy too. Like we can kind of feel each other's energy here, but to be in, person to person is totally different. Um, I also have some collaborations in the beauty industry that are kind of just working on. We're seeing how that's going to play out.
Nice.
I know, because I went from working, I would say 5 days a week. I work 3 days a week in the hair salon now and make the same amount of money in less time. And so your time is valuable. But it also stepped me up to a point to know my worth. And I didn't know that before. I was always like discounting things because I didn't know my worth.
Mhm.
And so that's another thing that I know that I can show others. And when we just realize too that, we're perfect just the way we are, really, when you love every bit of you. And I always say the thing is like looking in the mirror and just finding something you like,
Mhm.
finding something and just telling yourself, and eventually you will convince yourself of those things.
Mhm. I love that. I've been telling myself I'm abundant lately.
Yes. Right.
Abundant in
Yes.
all things.
Yes. Now just believe it.
Mm.
You know, and we are so blessed. I did an interview with someone the other day, and oh, she's so awesome. She goes, yeah, growing up, she said, we didn't have much, but I
Mm.
didn't know that. She said, my
Wow.
dad would always say, we're rich. Like, we are abundant. We have we have food on the table. and a roof over our head. And so she said, I always felt like, wow, I mean, we're abundant, we're rich, we're wealthy, we have everything we need. So I guess it depends like our perception and how we look at those things. So when you look at it and you're just like, I'm so grateful for everything. Looking at these little things like my sheets, I'll wake up in the morning, I'm so grateful for my night sheets. I don't, yeah. In this apartment, like I thought I was going to be here for 1 year and then I was going to move on, and it's been 5 years later.
Mm.
And so for a while I was like pissed off at that. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm still in an apartment. And then I began to love it.
Mm.
So to love where you're at now brings just more love and more goodness into your life.
Mm. I love this. Thank you so much. You're just such a breath of fresh air, and I love your story. I love where you've come from. I love where you're going. I love that you have the podcast now so everyone can tune in and listen to you. Oh man, just thank you so much for being here and just, dropping so many gems. Where can everyone find you? Obviously, Unleash Her is your podcast. We can catch that. Where can everyone listen?
Yeah, so it's on Spotify, Apple. I'm on YouTube. So Roberta Campbell official on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, Roberta Campbell. I think that's it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you so
Everywhere.
much. Yeah, I appreciate you for doing this. I would love to have you back on and just talk a little bit more about, different concepts as far as confidence goes, and just so many different things that, like I said, we just tapped the surface, but I'm so grateful everyone gets to know you a little bit more this episode. And like I said, hopefully you'll come back.
Yes, I will. Thank you so, so much. It was such a
No
pleasure.
problem. Of course. All right, guys. See you later.
Today's episode comes to you thanks to our sponsor, Kangen Water. Electrolytes reduced water is the power of true hydration, manifested in the most advanced Japanese technology that has been in the market for more than 50 years. To drink the best water, shower with a hot spring quality water, and start a new business with the most amazing and profitable compensation plan in the world, visit thelivingwatercouple.com to learn more or get started today.